Welcome to the Screen Time Continuum. It is Wednesday? Oh, crap. Yeah, it is Wednesday. Hey, look at there. It's Wednesday, and my name is Keelan. I am here. We are here. Uh, here with the fellas. What's going on, guys? Mike, Nick, how you feeling, fellas?
Fantastic.
Hey, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday indeed. I thought I had a smooth way to seg us in today, and dropped the ball there. So I'm just
Baruch
gonna go
Hashem.
ahead. Say it again.
Baruch Hashem.
What's that?
Happy New Year.
Oh, see, got to start it over. Now I'm learning new stuff. See, it's Wednesday, getting over the hump, guys. Hope you guys are doing well out there. We're here to review the movie Jung-E. Is that how it's?
You picked
Yes.
it.
I know, and I just realized that I picked this movie, and I just realized, even watching the movie, I don't remember exactly how it was pronounced. Didn't even give it any thought until just this moment when I had to say it aloud for everyone to hear, and for it to be recorded and everlasting on the internet for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first time I thought, how do you pronounce it? Is it Jung-E, Jung-E, Jung, Jungle? And there's like a
Could be young.
could be young. It could be a lot of things. But we're here to review the movie Jung-E on Netflix. It is a movie that was released in 2023. The movie is starring Yoon Seo-hyun. Oh, sorry. No. Yoon is the name of the character. I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong line. It is starring Kang Soon-young, Kim Yoon-ju, Ryu Kyung-soo, Park So-yi, and a bunch of other names that don't seem to be too relevant because there is no picture next to anyone except the four people I just named. But to be clear, you really only see about 5 or 6 people through this entire movie, so it's not the longest list of actors and actresses. However, thankful to all of them who participated, or else we wouldn't have anything to review today. The main actress in this movie, Kang Soo-yeon, she passed away last year.
Yes, she did. Right after they filmed.
Right after the filming of this finished. She was 55 years old. She was a Korean actress and considered Korea's first world star. So, I mean, this was kind of her comeback movie because she had taken a few years off, looks like about 10 years or so, in between the last thing she released and this. This seemed to be maybe a comeback or something for her, but she
Rest in
didn't
peace.
even get to see the release. However, here we are to review this and to let you guys know what we think of Kang Soo-young's final portrayal as an actress in the movie Jung-E. So, with that being said, I didn't really get a lot of background on this movie. This movie's budget was 20 billion woo, I believe that is. It is originally a Netflix movie. It is distributed. Oh, excuse me. It is a screenplay, and it is directed by Yoon Sang Ho. With that being said, let me give you guys a little background on the movie, and then I'll ask you fellas, what is your first impressions? On Google, you'll see it says, in a post-apocalyptic near future, a researcher at an AI lab leads the efforts to end a civil war by cloning the brain of a heroic soldier, her mother. Yeah. I believe this takes place in like 2194. I was reading a couple of different things on it, and I want to say that's the timeline that it's set in, but that doesn't really get said through the movie. With that, before I get too deep into anything else, first impressions, gentlemen, what did you think of this initially?
Well,
Mike, do you want to go first?
sure. My first thought was Call of Duty. That's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, this is Call of Duty shooting up robots instead of, how you play against AI bots. That's the
Right.
first thing that popped in my head. I saw the slide attack. I saw some knifing,
Yeah,
some
plasma
running
knives.
gun. Yeah. So the first thing I thought was Call of Duty, and then I did enjoy it though. I kind of liked it more than I thought I would, because it turns out to be a little bit better, and you get to that more artificial humans being human kind of place. So I enjoyed myself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. This movie will remind all viewers of various things, whether it be a video game, another movie, a TV show. I think we can make a list of maybe 15 reference points in this movie for sure.
Yeah. Well, I kind of resent the fact that Keelan introed this movie with the very sad story of the main actress dying, because now I feel like a complete and utter jerk for not liking the movie.
That was not intentional. Sorry, bro.
No, it's okay.
I've seen it coming.
No, I didn't really much care for this movie. I thought it was it's a little bit generic, I would think. I didn't think the acting was very good. The main actress was very wooden. I mean the daughter, not the mother. And the story, I don't even remember what happened to the daughter. What happened to her?
She dies.
She dies on the trolley car.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, then I guess
you don't remember what happens at the end to her.
No. So the introductory scene is pretty decent. There's a little bit of action. The CGI is a little bit low budget, but that's okay. I'm not going to fault anybody for not being able to spend millions and millions of dollars on CGI. But after the initial action scene, there's about an hour and 15 minutes of very boring material here. And it seems okay. I mean, the last 10 minutes is kind of okay, but it ends up being very anticlimactic and has some odd themes to it that I'm not really sure I liked very much. So that's where I'll leave it at that.
Right. Yeah, nice. I think I am right in between where both of you guys stand with this. I don't hate it, but I don't think it was that good either. It's like a roller coaster for me, like a roller coaster of oh okay, oh okay, oh okay, that's really how I felt through this. There were a lot of things that I was really like, yo, I like that part, and then like the fighting, for instance, I can comment to the CGI, right? I agree, Nick. The CGI was not the greatest, but it was enough to keep you captivated. It was just enough to keep you in the mix to where you weren't like, oh, okay, it didn't change the temperature of the screen every time that you got into a fight scene or you had to get into CGI. You didn't get a severe color change where you're like, oh, this is something severely different. I wasn't too mad about that and things of that nature. It jumped out to me, but I wasn't gonna tear it apart. Concept and plot, as far as that goes, I mean, seen it 2030. I think we reviewed 2 movies that had this exact plot line last year. However, I can't say that they butchered it. There might have been a little bit of an improvement, but the execution was not my favorite, and that's probably where it's going to take the deepest dive for me, is after it gets to the peak, it just, the life in it kind of just doesn't come back. And I agree, even with you saying my lead in by announcing that the lead actress did pass away, it makes it a little hard for me as well, because I had thought so do I have to like this movie? And I knew that before I watched the movie. So when I watched the movie, what I did is I made an effort to just not think about any real world information, which I do quite often, just so I can try to absorb what's going on in the film. So yeah, I can't say I hated it. Can't say I liked it. Oh, excuse me. I can say I liked it, actually. I can't say I loved it. There you go. Can't say I loved it. Can't say I hated it. I can say I liked it, but I am not sure. I'm not sure which way to go. If I had to rate it right now before we discuss it, I would probably take longer to rate it than I did to just give you my first take.
Sounds to me like there's some gray area I can work with to bring the numbers down. I'm kidding. Yeah, I think that there is some decent parts to this. I won't jump into that right away, but I think there are some decent parts to this. I just think the story is kind of overly done. The most interesting thing that happened by watching this movie was that I came to a question in my head, sort of like, when was the last time we've seen a positive future in a movie?
Mhm.
And I don't think I came up with an answer. It seems to me like every movie now is like the future is a dystopian nightmare that, humans are just slaves in. And
Mhm.
yeah, I really had a hard time finding a movie that didn't depict the future as some hellhole that was awful.
Well, I prefer my futures to be more Mad Maxy than sci-fi.
Right. At least there's a little bit of human control there.
Right. I want to see people eat drinking out of skulls and crap. I don't
Silly.
want to see robots running the world.
You know what's so crazy is you asked that question, Nick,
Mm,
and I'm sitting here. The only movie that's coming to my brain right now is the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which was a dystopian movie.
right.
But it was about imagination.
Yeah, imaginary. Yeah.
Yes, Mike, it was
Huh.
extreme.
Okay.
Wasn't a bad. I actually think that was one of the greater movies that got overlooked. But we
It's
could
a
talk
good
about that.
exercise to think about, especially if you're a movie buff. I really had a hard time finding an example in which a movie depicted a future in which humanity was better off.
Mhm.
Oh, what you call it? Demolition Man.
Demolition Man? Are they better off than that?
Yeah,
Isn't
they were
that a
eating Taco
dystopian
Bell.
future? Oh,
Oh
okay,
God,
okay. Right. But that's like
Wesley Snipes.
that's like
Sylvester
the
Stallone.
I remember the movie.
hyper corporatists future, right?
Yeah.
Where
Oh,
one
in that case,
corporation owns
in
everything.
that case, I could think of Idiocracy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that
I
was a
wouldn't
good one
call
too.
that a positive future,
Yeah,
guys.
I definitely would not call that a positive.
Baby.
But hey,
I love
here
that
we are.
movie.
So yeah, let's jump into it. And actually, before we jump too deep off the bat, I also want to say I had taken the time to realize I can personally probably name, like I said at the beginning, about 15 reference points as far as movies or games or TV shows that this movie reminds me of, or that could have been used as inspiration.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing anymore. That used to be a really, really good thing when it came to films, but it's becoming so consistent where it's like, it's one thing to be influenced by something, it's another thing to just take a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of that and a little bit of this, put it together and call it Voltron.
Yeah. And expect that it's going to break any new ground at all.
Right.
Yeah, I think we see just like we've talked about this ad nauseum, so I won't go too far deep into it, but it does definitely feel like a filler movie, like we've seen so many of on Netflix.
Mhm.
Just like you get a
Yeah.
budget and you got to make movie, and this is what they come up with.
It's starting to make me wonder, is Netflix allowing these writers time to flesh out scripts?
I don't
Like
think so.
I'm starting to think it's not the creators anymore. I'm starting to think it's Netflix in their timelines.
Probably because they need to make a certain amount of content every month, and
Hmm.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
dang, are they losing that much? Oh, never mind. Sorry. Different show.
You can talk about the numbers on Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I know. I think I might even reference this on another episode here. Like, I know a few numbers that have you like, wait, what? But yeah, it makes you think that. It makes you wonder. However, again, as I said at the top, they're not the worst bits of media that are out there. This isn't the worst movie. We're not getting the worst shows from Netflix, but they're absolutely not top tier. With that being said, let's get into Jung-E. So Jung-E again is a post-apocalyptic movie. We're talking about stopping wars. Most of this movie is spent in a laboratory. This is the near future, and humans have destroyed the Earth. The oceans are rising, which has caused humans to move to space. There are only about 80 shelters that remain. 80 shelters that have all of the human inhabitants. Most of those shelters are in space. There are a few people who are left down on the Earth. Those people are left to make the weapons
and munitions for the war.
Is there any point to the space plot line at all?
Nope. But
Okay,
I'm gonna finish talking about it.
All right. Just
Um,
wondering.
there are 3 shelters, 8, 12, and 13 out of 80. 3 out of 80. 3 out of 80. They are hidden, or excuse me, they are called the Adrian region or the Adrian group, the Adrian Republic, and they're at war with the Allied group. And yeah, that's really what it comes down to. The Adrian and the Allied are at war, and I just wonder how is it 3 colonies are taking on 77.
I was under the assumption that the Adrian group was the robots, but I guess not.
I think the Adrian group are the ones who make the robots.
Maybe.
I think those are just the smarter people, the 1%.
It would have been good to know.
I get it. Yeah, you see, I just had to put that together just now.
Yeah.
They identify the 1%. I'm pretty sure if I did the math on 3 of 80, that's probably 1%.
Maybe. Yeah. We don't know because the movie actually doesn't even use that so much for
Not even
anything except for a very flimsy plot device.
Very obscure.
All right,
Yeah.
now switching my vote. See, damn it.
I knew I was going to get one of you.
And I want to say that it's 26%, so now I don't understand.
Yeah, I well, see, this is exactly it. I don't know if there's any more symbolism behind it than it was a plot device to have a reason to recreate the best soldier ever, so that her daughter could see her mother die over and over and over as a
That part I thought
monstrosity.
was pretty damn
It seemed like a
tragic.
torture tactic to me too, Nick. It seemed like a torture tactic to me as well.
I thought she was a
Right.
robot at that point. I was like,
Oh, well, I'll get into that.
everybody's going to be a robot. We were just going to Westworld this shit. Everybody's
was-
a robot.
you know
I was
what?
almost there with you. I was there with you.
You know what? I wasn't thinking Westworld. I was thinking the one with the what was it? Cylons? What was it? The space
Oh.
one?
Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah.
Or-
Everybody's a Cylon or whatever.
yeah, Cylon. Or maybe it's not
That's what-
Battlestar. Firefly?
I
don't know.
One of
Okay.
those.
No, I think
I'm
One
not
of
that
those,
big a
I
nerd
think.
anymore.
Yeah.
anymore, he says. So yeah, we just open into this battle going on with the droids, and we see Captain Yoon fighting for her life, and then we see her killed, only to find out that this is just a simulation that, as Mike just let you know, we will see continuously, because Captain Yoon is being recreated because they're remapping her brain for combat AI, and her daughter's doing that. So Captain Yoon is being recreated by Dr. Yoon.
Why? Why?
Because this entire
Why?
movie is a propaganda film about the future and mapping the brain.
Yes, that
They're
I do
letting you-
agree with. That I
They're
do
letting
agree
us
with.
know that they're planning on having the brain mapped out soon, so
Lenny?
you'll never have to
Did you
die.
say- did you
Not
say
really.
plenty? Allow me to correct you, because this is a Korean film, and to my knowledge, Korean doesn't usually let anything that's too propaganda-y out. Yeah, this is way closer to true than we want it to be.
Oh yeah. But it is PR for transhumanism for sure.
For sure. Yeah, PR
yeah.
without a question. But I
Mhm.
just I've learned that I think in our time of doing this, learning more about other markets.
Mhm.
And when you learn like what other markets will and won't accept and how they'll accept them, you start to really think to yourself like, all right, wait, how much of this is real? Because
Well, they need to start telling better stories because they're bad at selling this. Why, if you have the technology to map humans' brains, create perfect cyborgs,
Mhm.
why wouldn't you just program them to do martial arts perfectly? Why would you need to map it off of anybody?
That's Demolition Man, right, Mike?
That's the Matrix.
The
Why-
Matrix.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah, the Matrix
That's
too.
both.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
both.
Why wouldn't you just be able to program a robot to move
Oh, that's
perfectly?
Terminator.
No, not
There's-
Terminator.
I mean, technically, because the Matrix is Terminator, but you know,
It just makes no sense that they're like this woman was the best fighter in the entire existence of humanity, and a
I wasn't
robot
gonna
couldn't
touch
fight
that.
better than her.
yeah. What
I
do they
wasn't
call
going to
that
touch
again?
that.
What do they call that? The woman who's the most powerful?
Mary
Oh.
Jane.
No,
Yeah.
Mary Sue.
Mary
Sue.
Sue. Yeah, sorry.
That was I
Wrong
had a question
universe.
about that. Would she be considered a Mary Sue even though she's a militant?
She didn't have enough characterization to even be considered that. She was just a plot device for the daughter, who was as wooden of a character as anybody could be. There was I think she had, I didn't count, but I wouldn't be surprised if she had under 20 lines in this movie.
You know what's so funny? I was trying to figure out, were they trying to paint that the daughter was broken? Were they trying to paint that she was a robot? Were they trying to paint that um she's become hardened by this process? It wasn't until we actually see some emotion from her way at the end of the movie
Right.
where I realized, like, oh, this work she's doing for her mother, it's the thought that her mother died fighting to keep her alive. That's what's made her this way. That, like, oh, you
Which is a little bit flimsy, but at
That
least
takes
it's a
so long.
characterization, I guess, like at least there's
Yeah.
some motivation there.
I have about 3 other reasons she could have been sad like that, and 2 of them still include her mother. So
Well,
I
we
don't
would
know.
never know because she barely spoke in this entire thing.
You didn't hear her singing number?
No? So did she sing?
Hell no.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Again, I can remember very little of this movie. So
Right. Yeah, well, so she works for the Chronoid Labs. Um and I mean, this isn't really the plot. Again, it's not a long plot to explain. As a little girl, Dr. Yoon had cancer, and so her mother, who was a soldier and deemed the #1 soldier back then for the rebellion. And that's the question: would they be considered the rebellion?
she specifically says that her mother was a mercenary, which implies that she would
That would
work
be the
for either
rebellion.
side.
Oh,
No,
that's
that she would
true.
work for any side that paid her the most.
That's
So
true.
who knows if she was a hero or not?
She's the Mandalorian. Oh snap!
Yeah, she is.
Oh snap! Didn't even think about. I never. You know what? I missed the. I remember the mercenary thing, but in the moment, I didn't think about it.
Yeah,
In the moment.
yeah.
Um. So yeah. So we find out that her mother died, and she still has cancer, even though it's not in her leg anymore. Now it's in her
Even though
chest.
it's 30 years later,
Yeah, and now
apparently.
it's in her chest. So it was nothing she could do. She was going to die from cancer one way or another. But this is when we get to what's really going on in this movie. We really get to understand some things about this movie and a little bit of the plot. And this is also, to me, where they get the opportunity to do what they did later and make this thing a little sticky, nasty, mucky, and exactly what we need in a movie that is about mapping the brain. It's supposed to be a little confusing. You're supposed to throw some spirals in there, but this is the first real spiral we get, in my opinion, where we're talking about the brain transference. So we find out that Dr. Yoon has cancer still. It's she only has, what, 3 months to live, 3 years, something like that,
3 months.
3 months.
to live. Um, and so she's given the options by her physician, who we find out is not human. Very convincing, but we find out is not a human, but that was a robot speaking to her. I mean, I know
Type
what we
C.
saw was human, but you understand what I mean.
So wait, we can create like human sleeves now where you can
Yes.
upload your consciousness, but you can't cure cancer.
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Right. You can
Got
get
it,
a
got
whole
it.
AI body and become
Yeah.
an entire slave,
Right.
artificially.
Mhm.
Oh, wait. Wait, before you get into that,
Trap
the slave
trap
part,
your
right?
spirit into the matrix
Yes.
for eternity.
But you have tiers in which you can do it. Don't forget that
Right.
part.
Right.
Type A,
Right.
type B, and type C.
Correct. So if you get the type A package, so basically when you're sitting with your doctor, you're now also sitting with your long life insurance agent, because your doctor sells you your financial contract for which kind of a sleeve and contract you'll be under for your consciousness. Now, I noticed there was no option D. Option D is to just terminate my consciousness and let me die like a human.
Right.
Not an option.
That wasn't an option.
Mm.
Type A is, of course, too expensive for most people. You get full human rights. You get to travel and do everything like a normal human being, no restrictions.
Right.
Type B, it's restrictive to traveling and vacations and things like that, but you get to work and you get to choose your own job and live where you want and do those kind of things.
But you can't have kids and
You
other
can't
stuff.
have kids. You can't travel and go on vacation. It was 3 things specifically you couldn't do. It was kids, travel, and something else. And that's a restrictive type B. I
Right.
guess that's affordable for some people. You could probably even get a plan, a prepaid plan type of an agreement for that. That's nasty. Type A and Type B, they're both disgusting, but
Right.
nothing compares to Type C. Type C to me was like, hold on now, wait a minute, y'all not paying attention.
Man,
Like
man, Type C is basically you
slavery.
better off just being dead.
It's eternal servitude.
Mhm.
Eternal slavery.
I
Yeah,
mean,
to a
remember a
corporation.
couple of years ago, Kanye was worried about perpetuity clauses, and he had everybody in Hollywood talking about, oh, they got me under perpetuity clauses, perpetuity, perpetuity, perpetuity. They was loving the word perpetuity, but
I'm telling
nobody
you,
got a Type C clause.
the only realistic thing about this movie is that concept. And if people understood that there are people powerful enough to make that happen, planning it,
Yeah,
we would all be very upset right now.
yeah, absolutely.
The implications of that are absolutely terrifying. And I don't know. I mean, aside from psychopaths who are all going to get the A package, I don't know anybody who would volunteer for the B or the C package.
No, not at all. I mean, hey, I know in our world we're currently living in right now, there are stores you could go into, like small convenience stores. I'm talking Rite Aid, Walgreens type, 7-Eleven type stores, right? And when you
Mhm.
go up to the refrigerators, the refrigerators now have cameras and LED screens that tell you what's in the refrigerator. And that door is pretty heavy as well. So you don't just look through the glass to see what's in there anymore. No. You just go ahead and look at the screen, and then you open the door, and then you pull out what you want. But then when you look
We're
up,
the humans are amazing creatures, man. We have such a way of complexifying the
the easiest
simplest
shit.
things. Yeah.
And then you think to yourself, why is there a camera and an infrared reader on the refrigerator door?
Because it's keeping tabs on what you're buying, bruh.
And I'm just like, oh, this is the new world. So you guys want to know what kind of water I like? I'm gonna go over here to the warm
Or
stuff
if you
aisle.
take a cheeky, if you get a cheeky beer now once in a while, your insurance rates might go up.
Oh no, right?
If you drink too
Midday
much
buy
soda,
beer.
if you drink too much soda, it might send information to your
Ooh-wee.
insurance company.
Ooh-wee. Yeah, you're right. I never thought
Yeah.
about that. Yep.
Oh
That
yeah.
was
Roger,
part
it's water
of what movie was that?
Every movie that talks about
Inception?
what they want to do.
No,
Right.
wasn't that was some Japanese movie, wasn't it?
I don't remember. I can't. It's on the tip of my
I mean,
brain.
we don't even need to talk about movies, guys. It's happening in a whole ass country.
Yep.
Oh my god, you're right.
So,
Wow.
I mean, social currency is a real thing, and we saw that first
Yeah.
on on Black Mirror, and I thought that
Yeah.
was amazing until I found out that they were really
That's what I
doing
was
it.
thinking about just
That's a
now.
great episode. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking about just now. It wasn't a Japanese movie. It was Black Mirror, and I want to say they did it in Japan.
It was that Bryce Dallas Howard episode where she was it was the point system, and she had a bad day where she went from like a 4 to a 0.
Yeah, she went like from a smile to a frown.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's scary when you really think about it.
Anymore.
Yeah, it's super scary, man.
I mean, when you consider that's really what your driver's license has been this whole time.
Yeah, in a more rudimentary sense. It's just now they want to make it more and more complex. You know, it's like, eesh.
Yeah. So we all agree. Type A is the only way to go, which means if there's no just let me die like a human option, then we got to do some things to change it. But so now they go and they start a new simulation, and what's his name? Song.
You mean the director?
Yeah, the director.
The anime character.
Right. At this point, he's just kind of confusing me because he's coming off as like, yo, bro, why are you?
I knew something was up with him from the very beginning.
Yeah, he was way too intense. He's the polar opposite of Old Boy in Westworld. Old Boy in Westworld was so chill. It was like, why are you so chill? Like, you shouldn't be this chill all the time. And he was the polar opposite. It's like you're never chill. Like even a human who's this turned up on a regular basis has an off day.
It made it make sense to me why the military guys kind of just were like, all right, we'll tolerate this guy for now.
Yeah, because he was given that position of power. He's the boss. Just let him go about it. Like, I know
they also probably know he's a robot. He does.
Right.
No.
He's
I
probably.
guess I was thinking nobody knew
I don't think so, man.
except for
I mean,
you.
the chairman knows for
No, the
sure.
chairman knows because he's the first one. He was the very first. He said
He's
Then
Anthony
he was the-
Hopkins.
Yep.
He is literally Anthony. He does an Anthony Hopkins move by
The way he
freezing
pops out from under the bar. Hey, over here. Gotcha. Like that's
Yeah.
exactly what he did in Westworld. Popping out from stuff and walking amongst the hills.
hmm
Um. So yeah, so from there, he tries out some new things and they get some new areas discovered. But fast forward from that, they think they have a new product and everything is moving fast paced. And then he discovers that there's a product development department and he loses his shit. Now, initially, I thought that lady we met was going to turn out to be like the new boss and the chairman died and they transferred his brain into a consciousness and they just don't know that yet. I was about to be like, yo, shit's about to get crazy. But that's not how that went.
Hey, to be fair, she could be the chairman's consciousness in a female body.
No, the
Fair.
chairman said he didn't want to because he
Yeah.
realized it was all fake.
Right. But that don't mean he didn't make her the other guy.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, she had that same kind of assholish behavior.
Yeah, because
Who
it's
are we
right
talking
after
about?
that
What
happens.
lady?
The lady that was talking to Sang at the convention.
When he was supposed to go meet the chairman directly.
It was one scene. She literally had
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then never mind. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't a big scene, but it was.
that
I
happened.
don't want to say
before-
pivotal, but,
it was a little
happened.
important. It
Yeah.
happened right before the chairman and Yoon have that discussion, and he tells her about how he really feels about the brain transfers and everything.
right.
Mm.
Man,
So yeah,
You're
from
making it-
there, what? Huh?
I'm loving this movie less and less now. Now that we're talking about it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like to me, sometimes when we have these discussions, it kind of fills in. It's like when you're doing a sports bracket, you start out on your ends, you have your 16 teams, and you kind of just work your way in. It kind of just fills in all the gray in between.
Yeah.
It also can amplify too, right?
Yeah,
Because if we
sometimes it
really
makes it
like
better.
something, it makes conversations like this tend to boost my scores a little bit, but it can have the opposite effect if I really don't like something.
Mhm.
Hey, 11 Oscars wasn't enough.
Hey,
That's
now what
true.
you say now?
That's true. Hopefully
listen,
they sweep.
We
Oh, I
need
love
some
that.
credit for calling that one, but
I know.
Yeah.
Hopefully our video will blow
After
up
they-
at some point.
after they win, we got to
Mhm.
do something like we got to somehow recap that.
Yeah, agreed.
'Cause they're
I
gonna
refuse
win.
to watch the Oscars if that's where this is
Oh,
going.
no, whoa, we're not.
No.
watching it.
No.
We're gonna the winnings and tallies will still be out on the internet, buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe we could
Oh.
do like a mashup with If Numbers Could Talk or something and go
That'd be
over
pretty
the
cool. There you go.
results.
Because
Yeah,
I expect them to win at least 8 of them things.
probably.
If they don't win all 11, I'm boycotting the Oscars again.
I don't think they're gonna win all 11. That would be incredible.
I don't think there's anything else that I've seen last year that would be worth anything more.
Yeah.
Didn't
I
The
agree.
Revenant come out last year? No, I'm joking.
Nothing that I saw.
Yeah,
No,
I
so-
don't know. There was, we can go, if you want to check that out, we have a whole episode about the best hits of 2022. So you can go check that out. And we have plenty of movies we talked about that came out in 2022. So
Yes, indeed.
I was there.
on our channel. Yes, you were. Yeah.
So so then we find out that from Dr. Yoon, from the chairman, that there is a treaty and there's no longer a war. The war has ended. So they're moving out of weapons manufacturing and into household applications. And when you find out what household applications are,
Sex bots.
Right.
sexy things. They
That was the
turned her-
iciest part of the movie. Is that
I
her mom
thought that
became a
was
sex
so
bot.
fucked up.
That was
Oh.
so cool. And it was her boy. It was the only dude in there that I thought was on her side.
Right. And I was
Yeah.
like, damn, she got a flat booty. Sorry.
Oh boy.
I mean,
it wasn't a bad looking booty, but it was a flat.
no, typical.
I'm just playing cleanup over
Didn't
here.
she
You don't have to
die,
comment.
guys? We can't talk about her like that.
No.
We're talking about
The daughter's
warrior,
the one
not
that died.
Oh,
warrior,
okay,
not the
okay,
doctor.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Come on.
Sorry, I didn't know. Wait, so she was 50?
Yeah.
The daughter, yeah, the doctor was 55 when she passed.
How old was the mom? 80?
Let's find out.
No, well, probably something like that. Remember, she's been in
Oh, she's
sleep.
been dead for 30 years. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
more sense.
the
Yeah,
war
yeah, yeah, yeah.
lasted for
Makes more
40
sense.
years. Why did
Yeah,
the
that's
war
the
last for
robot.
40 years? And where's her daddy at?
Wow.
I
You
said
know
the
what,
same
Nick? That
thing.
was such a great question.
Huh.
I'll tell you why. So, um, Kang Soo Yoon, the lady that passed away, the doctor,
Mhm.
she was 55. The actress that plays her mother, Kim Yoon Ju, she's 45. They're literally 10
Oh.
years different in age.
Wow. Yeah.
Damn.
And she was playing her mom. That's crazy.
Right.
But considering that she was playing an AI version of her mom, I guess that's the exchange there. That's the like, hey, no, it's not the real person. It has to be a better looking version, which kind of also then plays into what we were getting at about the corporate angle where they have somebody making a sex bot version of her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that explains why she had to be a particular age.
Yeah. 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 So mom gets made into a sex bot. And then she does something that she should have probably done 10 years ago because she's been working on this damn project for 10 years. She talks to the AI, the robot,
Right.
to just clear some things up with her mother.
I
Right.
mean,
Like, why did that not occur to her sooner?
I mean, because she was stuck in her way. She was stuck in her own way. She was her own obstacle. Something else to mention is when we were talking about the type A, type B, type C, the reason that the soldier consciousness is able to now be turned into a sex bot is because her consciousness was purchased or categorized under label C, which is what the grandmother signed at the beginning when she put her handprint
Right.
on. And that allowed for, yes, they paid for all of the kids'
You sell your
schooling and
likeness to the
health.
corporation.
Right, but your name, image, and likeness is no longer yours.
Yep.
And I think that was pretty crazy. I think that was pretty disgusting of them.
Also,
That's what makes the ending so good.
But it's real. It's
That's
so real.
real. Also, people need to be very aware that your likeness may not be owned by you anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's every wrestler. Prince.
Oh no, I'm just
I'm gonna
talking
say-
about regular people.
But no, regular people.
Mhm.
And what Nick's saying is a lot of that, a lot of the things that people post online because they don't have any ways to claim ownership and likeness, they don't own them.
Mhm.
Oh, that reminds me. That's why my nephew turned down a job. I forget which company it was. Smamazon or one of them other smothers.
Yeah,
Silly.
gotcha.
One of them other joints.
remember that.
Because they wanted to have they had a perpetuity clause in there that
Yeah.
anything he creates
Oh,
while he's
intellectual
working there.
property.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
Okay.
music, because my
Uh,
nephew does music, and they were trying to say that they would have a claim over it. He was like, I can't
So-
sign this.
So here's the thing. A lot of the time, that happens to so many people on so many different scales, but people think it only happens to like, only Beyonce is giving questions like that, or only Cher would have to argue like that. Like, nah, you'd be surprised that the dude that works at maybe your local restaurant or maybe a carpenter, like an apprentice, they might be under some type of a clause where they can't do something for X amount of years just because they learned it from a particular person.
Well, and the companies that do that perpetuity stuff or the intellectual property stuff, they are assuming that you are going to get some sort of knowledge while working there that you can
Yeah.
parlay into another business, and they don't want you to compete. So
And that's seemingly what I forget the name of this company, Chronoid, was doing with the soldier, or what was considered the combat AI, but definitely the persona of Captain Yoon. And I thought it was really cool that Dr. Yoon was able to delete it. Like once she got wind of it, she went to the full extent. Like, no, I'm deleting all
That's
data
what
you
made
guys
the
have.
ending so sweet for me.
Yeah,
yeah, but the chairman said that he had all the information at
it's
headquarters.
stored already.
It's already stored.
I just thought it
Well,
was
she
cool
can't.
that
She can't
tried.
delete the whole thing.
Yeah.
I like that they do add the delete original Jung Yi, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, the original.
But that's the brain, not the likeness. But that's all her memories and whatnot that she was deleting.
Right. So I think what she's doing is by her deleting what she deleted, they had to stop research where they are. They can't go any further. I think where they
Right.
are, they still have that, but I don't think they
Can,
can go any further.
can we agree that that's not her mother, by the
Yes.
way? Okay,
Yes.
cool. Yeah, just wanted to see if we wanted to have a
What,
philosophical conversation.
what do you mean?
Ship of Theseus style. That,
What do
like,
you mean that's not her mom? Spiritually,
Clearly, it's her mom. What are you talking about, guy?
That's nowhere near her mother. That is so creepy to me that we would consider that like a mother. No, sorry.
Well, I mean, if we put your brain into another sleeve,
It's not me.
What do you
It's the
mean it's
same-
not you?
Because it's the same concept as teleportation. If teleporters really exist, you would die every time you teleported and reemerge a different person. It's not it's not
you're
you.
like shedding. Every time you teleport, it would be like shedding skin.
It's dematerializing your molecules and then rearranging them. That literally is not you anymore.
If we're having a discussion about that really quick, that's why Nightcrawler and X-Men always made sense to me, that when he materialized, he had that poof of smoke.
Well, that he goes into a separate dimension.
Right.
He actually doesn't teleport.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, it was the proof of, so he's not teleporting.
Yeah.
And nobody else has that. Everybody else has like a shimmer of light or something. And it's like, so can y'all just explain what they're doing? Because it's not what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I have this transhumanism thing is such a trap, because it's like, you're not you. Just because you can download your consciousness into a machine, that's not you. You still die.
Brain no understand.
Brain no understand. Well, and you consider most of the things you do, any game you play, most of the time it's the AI is fighting against you, so it's replicating your brain, or your patterns and your movements. That's just it.
Well, it's just
you play solitaire. There's a solitaire computer that has your brain mapped.
Well, just so you guys know, I want there to be a laser that creates me, so y'all remember me.
Like a 3D printer.
Like Tupac.
I thought you were about
to I want to be
a hologram.
You want a hologram?
Right. I thought what you were going to say, Mike, is you want a laser attached to the head of a shark.
I got news for you guys. We are creating it literally through this show. Assuming that a solar flare doesn't take out the internet, this show will live into the future.
Yeah.
And maybe someday, without our consent, because we've signed our likeness away to YouTube, somebody will decide to recreate us using all of the videos that we've made.
And they'll think I'm a doggy.
Yeah. I don't know why, but there was a talking chihuahua on the show as well.
Right.
It's the great nephew of the Yo Quiero Taco Bell chihuahua.
Right.
There you go. Celebrity status.
That's right. I'm gonna start claiming that. Oh man, my dog is the Yo Quiero Taco Bell dog. He's real old.
No, Yo Quiero Taco Bell nephew. You got it. It's in the same bloodline. This way it makes more sense.
Niece.
Niece. Sorry. Yeah, you got to say that they're in the same bloodline, and this is just down the bloodline. I'm too much. Yeah. Oh yeah. So Dr. Yoon preps the combat AI for escaping, and as the simulation starts, Captain Yoon has been told by Dr. Yoon that you will hear a voice as if you're in a dream, but this is not a dream, and basically lets her know exactly what she needs to do to escape. Well, and that's when we see her try to do out the deletion. I thought it was really cool how Song figured that out, because again, he's not human. So he's always calculating and computing things as he's moving around. And it only took him maybe a minute, 30 seconds, something like that, to get down the hallway and realize, like, wait, something.
Well, I mean, he is a robot.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Because of that, like, whether he realized it in that moment or not, him being a robot I believe played into him catching that so quick.
Probably. I mean, it certainly played into him fighting another robot with
ease. For sure. Once he realized it, it was like, oh, I'm not a human. Yeah.
And his eyes literally go Super Saiyan.
Turn up.
Did you catch that? His eyes flash white. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. His power core was
that's right.
Over
he reached 9,000.
So yeah, the combat AI are active. They're chasing down Captain Yoon, who is now who fights and is now put into a combat AI body. She fights the police and defends Dr. Yoon, basically.
Why did
at
why
this
did
point, from Sung and
why did the
everybody else.
mother why did the combat robot's eyes get super soft and kawaii as soon as the mother was in them? If you notice in the movie, the combat robots actually were kind of a cool
They look pretty
design.
dead.
They look dead in the eyes, which was kind of cool because they're supposed to be sentries. But as soon as the mom was placed in the robot, the pupils got really big, like Puss in Boots, and there was a whole bunch of expression on the face. I was like, where'd all this come from?
Because it's anime.
Right.
Yeah, that's
It's
what
a
it
live
definitely
action
is.
anime.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out that Jung-E is an anime.
I could believe it. I could believe it.
That in my Google searches, I didn't find it, but you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Not by
after
that name.
Yeah, not by that name exactly. But yeah, after that, that's pretty much it. She defends her daughter, who is not really her daughter, but she defends the doctor. After the doctor is shot and everything, they hear the sirens coming, and the doctor tells her to escape. She does the side cheek rub like she used to do when she was a human with her daughter, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
You know
then
what
she goes
Ayla
off and
said?
lives in the wilderness.
You know what
Right. Well,
Ayla said? Ayla said, "Oh, now all the sex bots are going to be doing that."
Ew, it's true. She's right. Because that's a sign of affection to them.
Yeah.
She's
Oh
right.
man.
Yep.
Ew, so she's still alive and she's gonna be taken back as a prisoner, so she'll have to watch all the sex bots.
Hey,
cheat.
who doesn't want to bang their hero robot version person? Oh man, you don't want to
After it's
bang your
modeled-
heroes?
when it's modeled after your mother?
No, not your own mother.
Oh, okay.
Your
Somebody
hero.
else's. Yeah.
But what
That's
if
why I
your
said
hero
your
is your
hero.
mother?
Ugh.
Some people's hero are their parents. What do you want?
I mean, the daughter's hero was her mother. That's what we're
Right. That's why I bring it up.
Well, I meant because the dude who was in the lab with her said that her
He was
mother was his
definitely in there.
hero.
He was definitely in there doing some hanky panky.
Oh yeah, of course he was. But he's such a nerd, he couldn't even finish the job.
Right.
But I'm
With a
wrong.
robot. I would not have
He
been
was-
answering that
He was
door.
actually having a dance party.
So the lady just dies, huh?
Yeah. Well, I
Do you
mean, she
think
got
that
shot.
movie was just a
I
disclosure?
don't think she dies. I think she lives and they come and take her to prison.
I think she dies either way because she only got 3 months to live.
Yeah, exactly. So do you think this movie was disclosure for the actress? Was she letting
Probably.
people know that she was sick?
Maybe. That's
Maybe.
plausible as well.
Seems as though, right?
Because I don't even know.
I didn't know she was dead before I watched it. So
Neither did I.
what she passed away from.
Yeah, I'm not sure what she passed away from, but we might not want to find the answers.
well, they probably took her brain out and scanned it. So
No, see, it's just, that's if she had the Type C, then she's in big trouble.
Come on, buddy.
love this movie.
Oh, now you like the movie.
I loved it
Oh,
I loved it ever more.
Evermore or Nevermore.
Yeah, Evermore. Yep, it was a great film. Let's give it 9 Oscars.
Oh, wow.
9
Yep.
thumbs down.
Well, your 9 thumbs down balance my 9 thumbs up.
Right.
Brings us right back to 0.
It's okay with me.
Where you at, Keelan? I think we pretty much at the end of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is actually the end. Is she escapes into the wilderness and she goes running into the trash piles.
What
And
was the
then,
point of that?
That's to let you know that this is about 100 years before the movie Wall-E.
Gotcha.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
So we never did find out if she had a daddy or not, or was she artificially inseminated?
Nope. No dad.
Fucking
Because I
wild.
mean, he just a non-factor in the whole movie. He not even mentioned.
Not even
She was a
once.
single mother. You didn't get that?
Who was
no
also a mercenary
Yeah,
Right.
single mercenary. Listen,
with a daughter with cancer.
look, you know that she had that baby on the run. She got pregnant on a one-night stand. She slept with the dude and then killed him so that there was no trace.
Hey, she's a modern woman. She can do that, and you can't question it.
No. Worked out really well.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't even know what else to say to that except
I think
Yeah.
we've come to the end of it.
yes. Although we've come to the end of Jung-E. So yeah, any final thoughts, conclusions, things that you guys would like to add and or take away from this before we close it out?
Still better than Wendell.
Fair. I actually agree with that.
Don't be tricked by the offer of immortality.
Do not be tricked by the offer of
Ooh.
immortality. Yeah, I do want to say that this did not drop the ball on the messages. It just dropped the ball on the execution of the ending, in my opinion. But the messaging, spot on. It did its job as far as telling the story. Just some things could have been done better. Yeah. So ratings, fellas. I'm gonna give this a solid 5. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5 and just leave it there. Just throw that out there.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna be that generous.
I'm thinking I want to go a little lower, but I'm just gonna.
Mike
I'm
always
just
says he likes
softball
something,
throw
but
that
then
out.
rates it like a 4.
I mean,
Right.
I think that's his version of liking stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, because I know I like stuff that typically is pretty bad.
All right. Fair enough.
I mean, think about it. Most horror movies are pretty awful, but I still find entertainment in them.
Yeah, all right.
I mean,
You're
true.
self-aware about it. That's cool.
So I
So
like
you're
this
giving it a
movie,
4,
but I'm
Mike?
still thinking it's like a 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
5.
To be
Yeah,
honest,
I think I'm about at a 3 with this one. It wasn't terrible. I mean, like, I
Okay, so
hate to
was
do
actually
it.
in the right ballpark.
I hate to be too low, but I just don't know if I think the cardinal sin of just being room temperature is enough to warrant a 3. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad enough to be entertaining. It wasn't good enough to be entertaining. It's just kind of somewhere in the middle.
So it is actually a 4 for me. I wasn't sure. I thought you guys were going to be higher, and I was tired of being so far away from you guys' ratings.
Hmm.
be true to yourself, bro. Be true to yourself.
I usually am, and that's why all of my ratings, I don't think I give 5, 6s, and 7s. It's usually like a 3, a 4, or an 8. That's about it.
Yeah, I
Or-
mean, because when
or-
you like something, you want to rate it high, and if you don't like something, you don't want to rate it like as high as the things that are decent.
Mhm,
Right.
So,
mhm.
Just because I
So-
like it don't mean it was good.
right,
That's a
fair
fact.
enough. Yes,
That's a
I think
fact.
we can all claim that.
So
I
that
didn't rate
gives
it a
us
Wendell. That's all I'm saying.
10.5 out of 30. So that's like what, 3?
3.5.
Yeah.
See? There you go.
Yeah, no, I can agree. I would probably watch this before I watch Wendell and Wild again. But I'm still not
That's-
against Wendell and Wild.
I couldn't remember the full name.
I'm standing on what I said. Still wasn't the worst movie. But it could have been better as well. And you know what? That's probably a reality for just most movies that I've come to a conclusion of. Most movies aren't great. They're just good.
Mm,
Yeah,
And there's way too many movies every year to watch every last one of them and really, you know,
14,000 last year.
Exactly.
yeah,
Could you imagine if we were able to review all of them? Oof,
Hell no.
be fun.
I don't think there's definitely not enough days in the year.
No,
man. That's what, like 25 movies a day?
I think only 20 movies get reviewed, maybe 25 movies get reviewed in total for like Oscars and junk.
Right.
And those
Well,
were hand selected by a committee before they even watched them. That's based on just who's putting them in front of them.
Man.
Mhm.
I watch Bloody Disgusting TV, and that's where all those other movies go to die.
Man, listen, it's a lot of movies that go to die in various places.
Yeah.
Look, there's
Yeah.
apps out there we've never heard of.
Man, I love these new modern horror movies that are based on apps. They're so awful.
What?
There's a
I
lot
had
of
to
new,
get closer
Bound
to
to
the mic
happen.
to make sure you heard the what?
right? Like,
Movies that are
there's-
based on apps.
Yeah, there's all these new horror movies where there's a demon that's in your phone's app.
I like that. Yeah.
That could be done well if it's done
No,
properly.
it can't. No, it can't.
No,
Apparently
there's
not.
no good,
Come
there's no good way to
on.
do that.
Come on, techno demons. We gotta have at least one good techno demon.
Right?
A tech demon. Come on now. You can't go wrong with that. That should be
Alright.
pretty easy to execute.
We got horror movies based on hide and seek. We got horror movies based on spin the bottle. So now we got movies based on Grinder.
Yeah.
Horror movies with demons.
What I
Grizzly Grinder.
Here we go.
tired, y'all. Overall of it. All right. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to the Screen Time Continuum and for hanging out and listening to our banter.
Like and subscribe.
We always appreciate you guys for hanging out because we do this because we just simply enjoy talking and reviewing and sharing our thoughts about things that we've seen and what we think is important to us, and it should be important to you. We would think that's why you're here, or at least you're just looking for somebody to talk bad about at the water cooler tomorrow. We appreciate that here at Screen Time Continuum because we're still going to give you our opinions whether you like them or not, and we hope and only hope that you're at least entertained by what we have to share with you. With that being said, come on around to some of the shows we have going down through the week. It's not just the Screen Time Continuum. We know you love it over here, and we will continue to give you reviews of all of the shows and stuff that you watch, that you see roll across your timeline or through your popular list, and you're like, I'd never watched that shit. And then you see us pop up, and it's like, no, they didn't. We appreciate doing that for you over here at the Screen Time Continuum. So check us out on Sundays and Wednesdays right here at the Screen Time. On Tuesdays, you can check out If Numbers Could Talk. That is hosted by myself, Keelan. On Thursdays and Tuesdays, you can go on ahead over to Twitch. Now on Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're going to be able to catch Dijon on Strawberries and Coffee. He's going to be giving you lots of games from the archives. He gives you also impromptu gameplay, so make sure you like and subscribe over there. After you do that, you're also going to head over to the King_of_Ilion, which is where Big Mike will be hosting you with Dying Light number 2 is what you're playing right now, correct?
Currently playing Dying Light 2.
Yes, indeed. So he'll be always there giving you guys some walkthroughs of the gameplay, and he's usually on for quite some time when he's on, so jump on over there, like and subscribe, send him a comment, tell him that he shouldn't have died that way because he was moving too damn fast, or tell him what you learned when you played Dying Light 1 and or 2. You never know. He might appreciate it, or he might tell you to shut it up.
More likely.
One way or another. He'll be there for you on Twitch at King_of_Ilion. On Fridays, you can head on over to the Exofathom. The Exofathom has been giving you guys some great material for such an immense amount of time now that I don't even know if I can remember all of the topics. Nick, what was your last video about over at the Exofathom?
Our last video was about the monkey's paw, which was a good one that Ayla did.
I watched that one.
Yeah, and we have a really good playlist set. So if you want to check out the playlists on Exofathom, you can check that out. We have philosophy, cryptids, aliens. There are also check out the Project Gateway, which is the 9-episode series we did about the Gateway experience, which was an Army report about astral projection. So you can go check that out there at Exofathom.
Yes,
nice.
Indeed. Always good stuff over at the Exofathom. And if you guys have not checked into the Exofathom, they're there for you on Fridays. And the Exofathom is hosted by Nick, Ayla, and Mike. So again, Fridays, 8 p.m., go ahead, check out the Exofathom. On Saturdays, you'll be able to check out This Merry Moment. This Merry Moment is hosted by myself and my wife. We'll be there for you on Saturdays, giving you just all kind of banter, kind of like the discussion portion of this show, but it's the entire show, and then we just throw in, questions and discussions. And
it should be your new Saturday morning talk show. That's what it should be for you guys.
I agree with Nick, and I appreciate him for that plug. Mm-hmm. I appreciate the both of them for that. And that's really, we're just there giving you guys some topics, talking about things, intriguing thoughts. And if you ever jump in over there, when you jump in over there and you hit our comment section, we'll be participating with you guys there as well. After that Saturday, you'll get some time off because we hit you pretty early on Saturday, and then Sunday night we're right back here at the Screen Time Continuum. You already know what's going on over here. We just gave you the Jung E review. If you haven't seen that on Netflix, again, it just came out in January, I think January 20th, so within the last week on Netflix. Go ahead, check that out. Tell us what you think of it. The comment section is always going to be open. You can also catch us at screentimecontinuum@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And for the Screen Time Continuum, my name is Keelan.
I'm Nick, and before we go, thank you for the 120 subs. We are super grateful to all of you out there. We made it to 120. That's a big celebration. We're very happy about that. Thank you guys so much. Our next goal is 150. Let's see if we can get there. If you don't mind sharing this or referring a friend, if you like our show, we would very much appreciate it, because we're trying to expand that audience. YouTube won't let us monetize until we have 1,000 subscribers, so we're on our way.
Hey, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
And we'll get there with you guys. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. And I might.
And that's sorry, Mike.
Very nice. Aladdin, sorry. Thank you guys. Good afternoon.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.